Hey guys, so we are at the very end of January here, and I've been meaning to make this video honestly for a couple of years, but over the years I have struggled a lot with the winter blues, seasonal depression, whatever you want to call it. Like, I have struggled hard in the winters, especially come January, February, March, when you live somewhere where the calendar says winter is one period, but actually winter really often can be from October till March. It's a long season. So I thought I would make a video maybe giving some ideas on how to thrive in the winter instead of just surviving, how to help get over the winter blues a little bit. Probably not the right word, but I think you kind of understand. Just make the winters a little easier. I have gathered a list of things that have helped me. I have found the last few years, 3-ish years maybe, to have been so much easier in the winter, and I think it has a lot to do with these different things that I'm going to be sharing. So hopefully one or more of these ideas will help you if you guys struggle with the cabin blues, whatever we want to call this, and you have other ideas that I am not going to mention here today. I would love to hear them in the comments. This place can be a resource for anyone that is struggling. So I have a couple different sections in this tips, ideas list here, and the first one is to embrace the cozy. And someone asked recently if cozy is the new buzzword. Like, it used to be minimalism. Is cozy the new word? And I wonder if it is. But I have found that there really is something to embracing the cozy and the benefits to winter. And so for me, that looks like grabbing a bunch of blankets. Heated blankets are great if it's cold a lot in your house or where you live. I feel like the heated blanket really penetrates really well, gets you really nice and warm. I like to turn on the fireplace. We have an electric fireplace in our living room. I used to have one down in my office as well. Just making things warm whenever possible. And part of that is just being cozy, snuggling with your blankets. Obviously, if you know me at all, this also means reading a lot. Hence why my booktube channel name is Chantel Reads All Day. Not technically true, but it is a slight desire of mine, and I definitely read more in the winter because I spend less time outside, less time doing yard work and things like that. I have more time to be indoors, and so I read more. I have never quite been one of those like beach read people. I know some people that like read one book a year and it's on the beach in the summer, and my reading significantly goes down in the summer and goes way up in the winter, and I think it's part of that, just embracing the cozy. I've also gotten into playing cozy video games in the last couple of years. So I've mentioned on here quite a few times and shared little clips in different vlogs that I play Stardew Valley. Right now I have kind of a routine playing it with my daughter as a bit of a date night once a week, and Jared and I will often play it as part of our date night. And then since Christmas or so, I started getting into Animal Crossing. That game for some reason took my brain a while to understand how it worked, because it's very different than something like Stardew Valley, but it has that just relaxed, cozy vibe. And I'm not a video gamer kind of person, or at least I wouldn't say that I am, but I've played it like every day since around Christmas. Not always very much, but a little bit each day. So finding a cozy video game that you find cozy, like different people might find different things cozy, is a good idea, I think. One thing that we do every winter, usually December, January, is we will get some kind of TV subscription service. So often it will be like Disney Plus we'll get for a couple months, or sometimes Netflix. We don't have these on a regular basis. We have Amazon Prime because we have Prime for free shipping and a few other benefits. So we have Prime Video all the time, but in the cold months when we are spending more time inside, need more entertainment options, then we get, yeah, either Netflix or Disney Plus, and then kind of binge watch. That being said, like, I still don't binge watch a ton, but the kids do, and I like to have it available and maybe watch like 1 or 2 things on it. I feel like the winter is when I give myself permission to do things that I maybe put off at other times of the year, and it's just kind of allowing myself to relax a little bit more. Another cozy thing that I do pretty much every winter is do a puzzle or multiple puzzles. I got a few puzzles for Christmas and I like putting them on my Christmas list. Often libraries have puzzles available. Mine has a checkout system, though I know a friend of mine was just saying that hers has like you can just buy them or have them for free, or like they just give out puzzles at her library, which is really cool too. I find them very relaxing. Either I do it with someone in my family and we can talk while we're doing it, or I will do a puzzle by myself with my headphones on and like listen to a book or something, and it's just, I feel like it just helps me to slow down and I really enjoy it. Next up is eat seasonal. So for me, obviously this means warm because that's what winter is, and so I make a lot more soup in the winter. This year I have a plan to try out more soup recipes. I have a very select few that we actually like, so one of my goals for the year is to find a couple more. This is also the time where I like to eat a lot more carbs. I like carbs all year round, but I feel like I can justify them more in the winter. And also hot cocoa, I also like year round, but I let myself have it more often in the winter because I'm trying to warm my body from the inside out a lot of the time. And I also I want to do things in the winter, have things part of my life that I enjoy, so that it's not just all winter long. Okay, this one, not always my favorite, but exercise. Some kind of regular exercise is really good. And over the years, I've tried a few different things. I think a big thing is to figure out what works for you exercise-wise. A couple years ago, I was doing the Strong Lifts program regularly. I really did enjoy that, but it takes a lot of equipment, or like it takes big equipment, and we ended up getting rid of ours, so we no longer have that. So I've tried a few different things. I've tried running. I've tried to enjoy running. I don't think I ever got to that point. Lately, surprising myself very much, I've been really enjoying like dance workout videos on YouTube. Like I have no rhythm whatsoever, but I'm really enjoying it. So I'll probably get more exercise because I'm constantly trying to get back in sync with the videos that I'm doing. So whatever, it's fun, and I haven't had exercise be a whole lot of fun since I was a teenager and like playing sports. That would be another idea, is to get involved in a sport. I just don't feel like I can fit that in my life right now, but that's an option that's like at the back of my mind for hopefully in a few years from now. And then part of the exercise is going for a walk daily, or as daily as possible. So a couple years ago I made it my goal, and I had a 365-day tracker where I wanted to walk every single day, except I said if it is colder than -30, I don't have to walk. And it's surprising how many days that were colder than -30 that I still did walk. And usually Jared and I will actually walk together, so this is really good, like couple time. We have like some really good discussions when we walk. But just having that, like, okay, if it's miserable weather, I don't have to walk, somehow it's pushed me to walk more. And once you get in the habit, it makes it easier. You look forward to it. And if you walk all fall, then as the winter, like the weather gets colder and colder, your body gets more used to it. Another thing I will add is make sure you have good winter attire. As a teenager, no wonder I hated winter. I remember being like 15, 16. I had to walk a ways to my bus stop because I lived on a farm and my bus didn't come to my house. And I would wear a hoodie, no jacket. I would have just showered, so my hair is wet. I would wear runners, so with my like ankles exposed in snow, standing outside in like -30. No wonder I got sick all the time. And no wonder I hated winter. I've learned over the years. Every year or so I gain another like good piece of clothing, winter clothing, because it can be expensive. I have a nice jacket. I have mitts that keep me warm. I have great boots. All of that adds up and makes the walk more enjoyable. Like if you're freezing cold, of course you're going to be miserable. But I've found like we can walk in -40 and I have the stuff to keep me warm. It's not always as fun in -40, but it's definitely possible. My next section is investing in others and being involved in community in some way. So, interestingly enough, the past few years that I have found winters to be easier, this kind of started since we started fostering. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they've been really hard years as far as like mental health in certain ways, because it's hard to always have kids coming and going. But I have spent so much of the last few years focusing on other people that it's a bit of a distractor from the cold weather. So I'm not saying that everyone should start fostering and you will not have any winter blues, but like find different places maybe that you can volunteer, or designate yourself as an encourager and make a list of different people that you can encourage and things you can do to encourage them. See if you can put your focus on others instead of yourself. And I think there really is something to that. Another idea is to create some kind of group. Now, depending on your stage of life and all the things, this could be an online group or this could be an in-person group. I think we need to be honest with ourselves. If you're in a stage where you have a bunch of little kids and it is hard to leave the house, I think an online community is great. But also make sure you're not just making excuses so that you don't get together in person with people. But a number of years ago, I created a local book club where we were reading a different classic book every other month or every season. I don't even remember. You could create some kind of club based on your hobby. Now I have my Patreon. I have a monthly book club that's online. I always look forward to that. Plus I don't have to leave my house. So just depending on the things that you're interested in, you could either join some kind of club or group or start one. And my last section is be creative. Now, I have always enjoyed being creative, but my creativity can suffer when I'm in a struggle season. But sometimes what I need to do is be creative and then I find I struggle less. Like sometimes you have to push yourself to make progress before you actually see progress. So kind of playing off of the investing in others, one thing you could do is send out snail mail or create cards and be an encourager that way. I love sending out mail to people, especially making envelopes really fun and like having people, like knowing when people get them in their mail, it looks really exciting compared to, you know, just getting like a bill or spam mail in the mail. You could also take up some kind of hobby. So this last month I've started kind of two. I shared about my reading journal over on my booktube channel already. I've shared my initial setup and my January spread, and then each month I plan on sharing my spreads there. So this has been fun. I'm kind of still setting up the initial stuff. I started this a little late. I should have started this in December. I started it in January. That's okay. And then thanks to Amy, who is a booktuber, but she also shares lots of other stuff, I started another creative journal. This is just for myself. I'm going to give you guys a glimpse now. Amy found out about this from Cat Woods, or got the idea, whatever, from Cat Woods, which is another YouTube channel here. And she Catwoods does a monthly flip through, and I think that'd be fun. So I started this kind of at the end of January here, so maybe at the end of February I'll kind of show you guys more in depth what it is, but I'm just using up a lot of my stickers and paper supplies and having a lot of fun with it. So I only have a few different pages so far, but I'm loving this. You could also use a book like this or some kind of notebook and do like scripture writing, like just write out scripture. I find that helps me a lot, and right now I'm actually doing a Bible study. It's like a revelation study that I got from the Every Woman a Theologian website, and of course it's always good to study scripture, but especially if you're in a season when you're struggling. I mean, maybe Revelation is not the best place to start. I don't know, maybe it is. But like obviously spending time in the Word is a great thing to be doing when you're struggling. So different creative hobbies, like you could do knitting, crocheting if you are better at that kind of stuff than me. I know that I can't do that. I've tried. But there's easier things like cross stitching I can do. Embroidery, like there's a million different things. There's painting, drawing. You could just get an adult coloring book and start coloring. You could start a YouTube channel. This is another thing that coincides with that same winter that we started fostering. I started my booktube channel, and I do think this is also an outlet that has really helped me through the winter. I have a creative spike each winter, and it definitely dips in the summer, and then I like to post more. I get that community interaction. Even if it is an online community, it's still a community. When you say the word so many times, it starts to sound weird. So the ideas for some kind of creative hobby are endless. I'm not going to list them all now, but that is my idea on different things that you can do maybe to help you if you're struggling in the winter. I'm not saying like it's going to be perfect if you do all these things or you have to do all of these things. Just try a couple of them and just know that you guys are not alone. Even though the last few years have been easier for me as far as winter goes, I definitely still each winter have times when I really struggle, when I feel really down, and I think it is because of the season, but I do think these things help a lot. So I hope this list helps you, and like I said, if you guys have ideas, leave them in the comments below.